This is Channel 7 Melbourne, calling in stations throughout Victoria, South Australia and southern New South Wales. A big welcome to World of Sport.
It's not Channel 7 Melbourne, it is Talking Tigers. And g'day Tiger fans, and welcome to Richmond's official live weekly podcast, Talking Tigers. What a ripping contest it was at Etihad Stadium against the Dogs on Saturday night. Frustrating, yes, but the guys proved a few knockers wrong in the media last week, I reckon. On today's show, we're going to chat about the late great Louis Richards. What a legend he was, and we send our respects out to the Richards family today. I think everyone in the football world has a Louis the Lip story, and we're going to tell a few of those on today's show. Plus, all your regular Talking Tiger segments and frivolity. Boys, how are we?
Yes, Richo, as you say, a very, very sad time in football with Lou's passing. JB, you're a bit too young to recall probably much of him. You would have seen him on the Channel 9.
Probably not the halcyon days, but yeah, I mean...
You would have seen him on Louis' handball on
Sunday footy show. So, I mean, probably not always in the greatest state Sunday mornings, but your mates would always get up when Lou's handball challenge was on, and I think the players loved being around Lou. Richo,
he was magnificent when you did that handball. It was absolutely hilarious watching Louis. He was a very, very funny man. If you want to get involved with today's show, if you've got a Lou Richards story, hashtag Talking Tigers. You can stump greeners. We've got a couple of those today. We'll get to a little bit later on, or you can email us at talkingtigers@richmondfc.com.au. But you grew up in the era when he was bigger than Texas, wasn't he?
And I don't mind admitting I shed a tear yesterday because he's such a part of the my childhood and of my generation growing up. He was an enormous part of that, obviously with World of Sport and league teams, and I've spoken to you many times about this. League teams is still the funniest football show I've ever seen, and one of the great comedy shows, Australian comedy shows with Lou, Bob and Jack, and Jack would be sitting up one end of the panel, probably
he was like he was oblivious that he was on camera.
Jack,
he'd be
muttering to himself, and and Lou and Bob would be talking and hanging it on Jack, and then Lou at the end of the show, it'd be same gags over and over again, I might tell a couple of them later, but and then at the end of the show, Lou would always give his recipe to be chicken cacciatore or curried sausages or something. It was just, it was fantastic,
Oh, mate, and
so
he had a sort of a strong association with Richmond through Jack Dyer, didn't he?
Well,
the love-hate relationship.
Well, he did, and even before then, Matty, like Lou's maternal grandfather, Charlie Panham, and the original family name was Panamopoulos, because they were Greek, so he played for Collingwood, Charlie, and then crossed to Richmond. So he played for Richmond in the VFA in 1907, and then our first year in the VFL competition in 1908.
Did he coach here as well?
And he was senior coach in 1907 in the VFA, and then 1912 in the VFL. He was our first captain in the VFL season in 1908, and the last captain and coach of Richmond in the VFA. And then Albie Panham, who was Charlie's son, played 2 senior games with the club and coached us in 1950 from 53 to 55. So, really big connection there, obviously with the family. But the whole thing with Lou and Jack, and I've got some
Bobby
quotes
Davis,
Fair Dinkum Bobby. But I've got some quotes. This is Jack talking about Lou. So he said he's been like a rat in a famine, and he still has those characteristics of native cunning. He'd survive where a lot of people would turn it up. He's resourceful. If he went to the moon, he'd find 5 cents there for sure. He also said in his great book, Jack's book, Captain Blood, he said, Lou gave me a bit of a blast in his book, Boots and all, but I've always felt he's a bit jealous of me. He claims that I broke many collarbones in my career, but my victims would have qualified for a pygmy side. If I ever wanted to iron out a pygmy, Lou was it. The nuggety little ankle tapper was one of my pet hates, and he played for that side, Collingwood. I never hit him. You couldn't. You just run right over the top of players like Lou, and they are too close to the ground to be hurt by the fall. But then he went on to say, still, I'd have him in a Richmond Guernsey. He's one of the few Magpies I've finished up liking. So they had this sort of real love-hate relationship, but they had great respect for each other. So.
And you loved going into his pub in the city, the Phoenix on Flinders Street.
When I started my journalistic career, so I started off at the Herald Weekly Times at the Sporting Globe newspaper.
And all the journos used to drink in there.
They'd all go up to Lou's pub, the Phoenix, which is over the road. So you climb those rickety stairs up to the bar upstairs, and Lou was, great host, and the stories and some of the stuff that went on up there. It was just, honestly, it was fantastic. Just brilliant.
I remember in 1995, I was living with Brad Pearce and Benny Harrison, obviously from Carlton, and we were playing Carlton early in that season in 95, and Lou was working for Channel 9 at the time, and he came around and did a story at our house with myself and Brad Pearce. It was hilarious. He had us in tears. He was a very, very funny man. And
he's incredibly funny.
he was sitting there doing the 2-shot, and he says, "Now, boys, you just sit there and look at me and nod and listen." And he started going off on this tangent, telling us how he was a media megastar and how brilliant he was. But he was magnificent. So we do pay our respects to Louis today.
Absolutely do. So no doubt about that.
Hey, during the week, boys, we got a letter. You know, we like to receive emails.
Yeah, we got a letter,
from the supporters.
Yeah, old school.
We got one from, of all places, Bowen in Queensland. This is from
Far North Queensland.
His name's Frank.
Yeah.
And apologies for the handwriting, but I think it might be Showen.
Frank Showen. He's probably listening now. G'day, Frank.
G'day, Frankie. And he wrote a letter because up in Bowen, as you'd probably be aware, they had the cyclone not too long ago. So he wrote...
Cyclone Debbie, wasn't it?
Debbie.
Debbie. I think it was Cyclone Debbie.
Yeah, I think we just missed it on our trip to Brisbane. But it was actually addressed to Roland, but he goes on and talking about the cyclone and how he survived it and the weather up there. And he sent through a picture of a Richmond flag. It's not great radio because we got the picture of it, but it survived the cyclone, and he was watching it out there. And
that was his inspiration, wasn't it?
It was his inspiration. That's right. And the Richmond flag survived. And then to top the letter off, he's gone with "I love talking Tigers" and hang out to listen to the boys every week up here in AFL-starved Northern Queensland. So thanks for sending that through,
great,
Frank.
It's actually
great to hear that everything was well up there and that the flag survived. And
brilliant.
And he sent through a stump greeners as today, so we're going to do it. He said, "P.S. Love talking Tigers, blah, 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 blah." But he's got a stump greeners. He said, "Try this. Name the Richmond player on the wing at Moorabbin who had a screamer taken over him by the little saint, Paul Callery. He was so disgusted that he picked up a clump of grass and hurled it into the ground. If my memory serves me right, the Tiger was reported and copped a 15-yard penalty as well. The look on his face was priceless." So who did Paul Callery take a screamer over at Moorabbin?
I reckon he was a perennial grass thrower, mud thrower at the opposition.
Who was that?
I'm going to go with Neil Baum, our own Neil Baum.
Wow.
Is that right?
Wow.
Geez, you're good.
What about
a bit
that,
of mud your way?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you remember that stuff?
I know stuff like that.
Well, there you go.
I've got a brain for trivia.
So there you go, Frank. He couldn't stump greeners.
We've got a couple more. So should we go with them now?
Yeah, do the stump greeners.
I'm on a roll.
The next one, this has come via email, talkingtigers@richmondfc.com.au from Liam O'Brien. He's in relation to Jack kicking his 500th goal on the weekend. He wanted to know where it all started for Jack. When and where did Jack kick his first AFL goal? And which team was it against?
Kicked his first AFL goal against Port Adelaide in round 17 of the 2007 season at the MCG.
It was Richo's 250. It was round 16, but
at
I'll
Etihad.
pay them.
All right.
It was at Etihad.
No, I think it was at the G.
I was at the G.
No, it was at the G. No. We got towed up.
I can't even
No, it
remember.
wasn't Richo's 250th because I remember Richo's 250th because my old man tossed the coin, being the big tosser that he is, being the big tosser, and we won the game. So there you go.
We got another stump greeners on Twitter today, just
red
before.
Hot today.
Yeah, this was from
well.
Peter H. or Zwan Caius. This is Stump Greeners. He wants to know what was the last number the great Matthew Richardson wore in a game before retiring.
Sorry, the last number?
Yeah. What number did I wear? The last game at Coburg when I
at Coburg. Oh.
Do you know?
Oh, jeez.
Do you know?
No, I don't.
You don't know?
No, I don't know.
There you are. He's got him.
Got him.
What number was it?
69.
It was number 69.
And appropriate?
Yeah. Peter sent through a picture just to confirm as well.
I thought when I got the jumper that day, I thought the property steward out there was having a lend to me. But no, that was my last number I ever wore in a game.
We were a bit down in the mouth that day, weren't you?
So, Peter, get your email address through to us, talkingtigers@richmondfc.com.au. We're got the new batch in, so we're sending out the T-shirts.
Why did you wear number 69?
I don't know. That's just the number that we wore.
Celebration of the year or something?
Hey, we've got to give a quick plug in for our new sponsor, Tome. We're wearing your new Bang & Olufsen headphones today.
Geez, they're sharp.
They are magnificent, aren't they? Hey?
They look good on me.
They're almost ear warmers as well. They can do it all.
They can do it all.
These are what we're wearing are the H9 versions,
H9.
Richo, which are
Noise cancelling,
which will come in very handy.
Boy, am I looking forward to them at home.
I'm going to put mine on tonight when Kev starts playing up, when he starts meowing.
Is he still been...
Yeah, he's still
really?
carrying on, Kev.
Oh, that's no good.
They're also wireless and up to 14 hours of battery life, which is great. So they're the presenting partner.
They're outstanding.
Talking Tigers now,
So they're
which
involved.
is great to hear. You can find out more about Bang & Olufsen at their store, beostore.com.au.
Yep.
And I think Sconners and I are working on a little member discount, which we might have out to the members tomorrow.
Scones looks good in here.
Thoroughly recommend them.
Hey, what did you think of the VFL game before the AFL game? We'll talk to Louis a bit later. How good was it?
Great to have curtain raisers back in the big time.
How good was it just rocking up, having a reserves game to watch? The atmosphere, it just builds.
Could it become a regular thing?
I think it will at Etihad a little bit more.
Do you?
Yeah, I reckon the AFL, now they've taken over the ground, I think they see it as an opportunity to have some more curtain raisers. It was just great atmosphere, wasn't it? And as a player, I used to love rocking up and watching a bit of the twos, it just got you in the mood.
That's what, growing up as a supporter, that's what you did. I mean, that's, you'd go there and you'd just keep an eye on, you might watch the second half or the whole, and then you keep an eye on players that were pushing up for selection the following week.
You get attached to the players in the twos, watching them week in, week out.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, I think we should have more of it.
And maybe we bring back the under-19s and we can play them here.
The under-19s?
Oh, yeah.
You never know.
It's the great old days.
Hey, JB, I think you got an update on Nick Floston. We can probably...
we do, yeah. Well, got the injury list here, which we'll go with a bit later. But so we spoke to Peter Burge this morning, and he's confirmed that Nick will be out for the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Can't take a trick, can he?
With an undisplaced fracture of his scapula. But we got more from Burge.
Yeah, Nick came off the ground with a sore shoulder, sort of at the back of the shoulder, the scapula, and we scanned him the next day, and he's got a small fracture, which is going to require some time out, unfortunately. So 3 to 4 weeks at this stage. Hopefully, the shorter term is what we're looking for, but look, we'll wait and see how that heals, and hopefully he's back sooner rather than later.
He was playing good footy, wasn't he? He was actually really looked like he'd returned to form.
Well, he'd gone back into defence against the Bulldogs, and in the first quarter he was really on fire. And then, the injury, it takes away the rotation, but it also took away the role that he was playing. And then I think Corey had to fill in for him in defence.
Probably
and
hurt
it really
us a little bit later on in the game.
Oh, it did, no doubt, because he was just looking really composed again, like right back to that really cool sort of composure. And
Jeez, we've got a big injury list.
Well,
at the moment,
it's gone from nothing. It's gone from really, virtually nothing to about 10 or 11 now. It's just.
Should we go with it now then?
Yeah, why not?
Get it over and done with. So. As we mentioned just then, Nick's out for 3 to 4 weeks. Shane Edwards with his hip will undergo a fitness test this week and is looking likely to return.
I think he's a fair chance.
Jacob Townsend with his eye that we mentioned last week, he's available to play. Dion Prestia with a hamstring soreness is down for a test.
So it's only soreness. He hasn't sort of done anything more than that. I
believe so, according to the list. So will face a fitness test
this week then?
The Sunday game probably helps.
Yeah.
But
I reckon if he doesn't, he'd be up for the next week. You'd think
against GWS. And that's about it. Reece Conker as well was the one last week with the foot injury, the Lisfranc. Yeah, he was down as a 3 to 6 week.
It's probably a good result for Lisfranc.
Well, you did yours, didn't you?
I mean, that can be a career ender. Look at Dane Swan.
Well, you did yours.
Yeah, it's not a good injury, so. Luckily, he hasn't had to have surgery because that can be horrible, the Lisfranc.
And we've still got, Hammer, there's no more news on Sean Hampson. I guess it's indefinite.
Dimmer said last week that he had a bit of a setback with the back, so he's on the long-term injury list as indefinite anyway at the moment.
And Griff's still indefinite
and
with
Griff
the concussion.
is indefinite with concussion, and so those two are the ones that are just at a waiting game.
And young Jack Graham's still a few weeks away.
He's still a few weeks away, 4 to 5 weeks. I mean, with Jack, it'll be good to see him play at some level this year.
Games in VFL.
Did you say he's a Rory Sloane type?
No, I just
Jeez,
someone had said
on
no. Someone had mentioned that, not from within the club.
Okay.
I think from outside the club had mentioned that. At a similar age.
All right. I thought it was Luke Hodge type as well.
We'll take that as well. Yeah.
Got a few tweets.
No pressure.
You want to do a few tweets?
We've got a few tweets in during the week.
Yeah, get into them. Gee, these headphones are good.
Oh, they're
crisp, aren't they?
Really crisp.
The first one came from Rob, who actually didn't tag in Talking Tigers, but someone else did. He wants to know whether the Twins off House Rules on Channel 7, which is a show, are taking their fashion inspiration from the Chief.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
A little bit.
Same sort of glasses that the Chief operates.
That doesn't make for great radio.
But they haven't got a perm, though.
Yeah.
One step at a time. And they're from WA, so fashion is reaching over there.
I'm not really familiar with house rules.
It's a new show.
New show.
Oh, it's on your network, so you've got to pump it up.
Show.
Of course.
A lot of people have tweeted us in wanting to know our take on the umpiring. So does anyone want to touch it?
Don't start looking. Just don't wind him up anymore.
Hold off on
he
that.
He is just fuming.
Well, do you want to do it now, Sconzi? Or will I wait? Oh. So in answer to these tweets...
Oh, wow.
It's lost the plot. We've done this before, but that rule has lost the plot, the deliberate out of bounds, or insufficient intent, as it's called now, Tone.
Please.
But tell me what player, with less than a minute to go, when you're a goal down and you have a chance to gain possession in your forward pocket and keep the game alive, what player in his right mind would be thinking, I've got to hit the boundary?
No player in their right mind would do that.
It was outrageous. And that's 100%. Where there's no common sense in this rule.
Probably costs us the game.
There is no player in the history of the game that in his own forward 50, where he's got a chance to gain possession, would want to take it out of bounds.
No, it was ludicrous. That's
so that
no
shows
feel for the game.
That's no feel for the game, and it's lost the plot. And I think you're right. I think they've just got to make it black or white now.
But it's too difficult.
It's too hard.
Well, it's almost like they've got to read the players' minds in terms of intent.
And I can't have people then coming out, it's only a couple of decisions. No, it doesn't matter because they're so bad, those decisions, that it's too difficult.
And for people who support a club passionately, that's not good enough.
Yeah, I was joking about it cost us game, but who knows with a minute to go.
A chance.
Who knows? You just
pinch
don't
the
know.
game.
He may have gained possession and he did have a lot of heat on him. He may have been tackled high. He may have been pushed in the back.
But then the throw-in, if it's just given just a throw-in, and it's locked in your forward pocket, who knows from there what can happen? So,
anyway, I'm as mad as hell about that.
No, it's just,
and I'm not going to take it anymore.
And as we said last week, maybe if you can't get the interpretation right, then just make it clear.
Well, I think Dimmer's pretty right. I think the umpires, there's that many things they've got to think about when making decisions. We just make it so hard for them. I don't know why.
Simplify it. Streamline it.
Just outrageous.
Streamline it.
Sorry about that, Joe.
No, it's all right.
I took your segment
up and hang off your
So that's what we think about that.
Well, positive from Saturday night, which Ash Rodriguez wants to talk about, were some of the efforts from the Talls. Soldo on debut and Todd Elton playing his best game for the club.
Soldo at one point had 18 hit-outs to nil.
No, he was good. Really.
I thought he got tired, as he probably...
He did.
As the game wore on, he looked to get a little bit tired. But
he took a couple of marks and he looked all right. He didn't look out of place.
I think he is a prospect that will continue to develop, Soldo.
Now, whether he keeps his spot this week with the big Nanka coming back, maybe not, but at least you can bring him in. That game, that experience for that game will be really valuable to him. And if he comes in later, he's developing well.
I thought Todd Elton took some big marks down the line. Best game he's played,
No,
so that Ash noticed that.
And so did Jess Benson. Brendan Fisher wanted to talk about whether Lloyd or Lennon comes in to support Jack this week. Maybe we'll hold that one for Lou.
Yeah, I think Lou will talk about that.
Christmas Smithers wants to say it's not all doom and gloom. It was a solid response from the boys, and he reckons Caddy showed some real grunt in the game.
No,
Is that our mate Manfred Mann there, Brent?
What's Manfred? He wants to say that Trossman, which is Alex Rance, was back to his imperious best.
I thought he was too.
Gee, that's a good word, Manfred.
He would have learnt that from us, I reckon.
Probably. But then he also wants to say that he had a little patch in the third quarter where he was back to the not so good days.
I kicked one out on the full.
He did get a coach's vote though.
I wonder if Manfred's still operating at the Netball Awards.
Oh, of course he would be. He's an operator, all right.
And final one is from Carpo, who's Tom Carpenter. He wants to say that after last round's tip, he's going to head up to the Green Door as well, Richo.
Just the Green Door.
Just to reevaluate where his tipping is at.
All goes on behind the Green Door.
I need about a month at the Green Door. I'm cooked at the moment.
And just quickly, we got an email through over the weekend.
Yeah, good.
So we'll read this out.
Who sang that song, Green Door?
I don't know.
Shakin' Stevens, that's who.
Anyway,
Shakin' Stevens. Sorry, JB.
On the subject of singings, this is from Tim from Mooney Ponds. Hi guys, just thought I'd share a story about my experience watching the game on the weekend, which I thought we might find amusing. His wife decided that instead of giving a speech at her best friend's 40th last Saturday night, she wanted to perform a surprise song instead and con Tim into accompanying her on guitar. Anyway, just before he had to come out to play, he was told to hide in the bedroom where he got to watch the last 90 seconds of the game. And he went out on the stage and he was as flat as a tack. And I'll quote him, he managed to play like Styx Kernahan singing.
Oh, no.
Stuffed up the first two chords in particular, and the song
Went down a bit flat, did it?
It was by the Smiths, which is appropriate.
Yes.
Of course, with the Western Bulldog, Clay Smith.
Clay Smith.
Clay Smith. Yeah, no, that's...
4 goals,
anyway,
Clay Smith.
So thanks for sending that in.
Yeah. Gee,
that
you
would
be
flatten you, wouldn't you?
Oh, you'd be
You couldn't perform after watching the last 90 seconds, especially the Jaden Short deliberate.
No, not good.
The Chief, he's at it again, Tone. He's at it again. Did you watch the game on Channel 7?
I did.
Do you know the locked-off camera?
I noticed it.
Do you know the locked-off camera, JB, in the rooms?
Yeah, I do.
If you were watching that, you would have noticed that
I
the
did.
Chief made sure he was inside of the locked-off camera in the rooms after the game.
Backwards and forwards,
He was pacing around. But the reason I bring this up is if you were watching, you would have noticed he had a trench coat on.
I thought it was he was channeling GR.
Well, he was channeling GR. In fact, Tone, in this very museum here, there is a piece that is normally on display of GR's old trench coat that he used to wear.
You reckon he's taken it out of here?
He did.
He's asked Roland to... He's borrowed it from Roland.
He took GR's trench coat out of the museum and he wore it at Etihad Stadium on Saturday night. It wasn't big enough for him for a start. GR wasn't a big man. Can you believe he stole GR's trench coat out of the museum and wore it to the game on Saturday night?
He wants to just emphasise that he is the power broker, as if we didn't know that.
He thinks he is GR reincarnated at the moment. Can you believe that?
Oh,
seriously, who wears a trench coat to the football?
No.
That's all.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got GR's trench coat.
He might have been trying to celebrate 67.
Maybe.
Hey.
Oh, sorry.
Speaking of Chief Watch, the Chief told me in confidence that I'm going to go with, but his sister, who lives in Queensland,
one of his 7
He's
sisters.
got 7 sisters.
7,
regularly rings the Chief to check on how he's going based on the stories in Chief Watch. So she was very concerned about the Easter egg hunt.
It is?
I'm not
is it
too
Louise,
sure.
maybe? I'm not sure.
Not too sure,
I
but we send out
apologise
a
if it
vest,
isn't
and
Louise.
she was concerned about the Easter egg hunt.
Do you think he'll launder the get it?
Well, Roland wants it back.
Yeah. It needs to be washed, I reckon, now.
Anyway, we already mentioned about Bang & Olufsen at the start, coming aboard as the presenting partner.
Seriously, I've never heard anything
Talking
crisper.
The sound is crisp.
Yes. Also this week, we're playing Fremantle on Sunday at the MCG.
We
Kids
are.
under 15
1 o'clock
years
game.
of
On
age.
Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there.
Absolutely. So if you are under 15 years of age or you have a child who's under 15 years of age, you can register for free tickets at richmondfc.com.au/kidsfree. Tickets are available to collect at Before the Pounce at Punt Road Oval from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Tigerland Superstore is having 20% off all footballs pre-game. And the homecoming hero this week... You want to go with the Greeners?
Yeah, go with it.
Who? Mick Malthouse.
Mickey Malthouse.
How
Big
good's
Mickey.
that?
Mickey's the homecoming hero.
Oh, that's great. It's
it?
good.
Yeah, it's really good.
And also, we know we gave the Bulldogs a bit of a hard time last year about Kung Fu Panda. They got it right this year with the pre-game reserves.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it three-quarter time.
Oh,
New dog.
the new replacement Bulldog, because Sid's been retired.
It's Caesar.
Caesar's the new one.
Bulldog mascot. It had some Lion King sort of indoctrination to the crowd. It was unbelievable.
They were lifting him up above the head or something.
One of the best things I've ever seen.
And that's some great stats about Sid as well.
Yep.
Sid's a beauty.
Yeah,
I saw AC at the game, and I think he might have been behind that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you reckon Bob Murphy took the AC Cup home, the Adrian Tadea Cup home?
Was it just a jar of marinated artichokes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's full of olive oil, the cup.
And the injury list we went through before.
No, we've done all that.
I'm
That's
done.
good.
I'm done.
No, I'm not.
What do you got this week?
I'm just coming into my own here.
Are you?
Well, you may be aware that Kevin Sheedy's masterminded yet another big game.
The country game.
The country
This
festival
Saturday,
game
Essendon
on
and Geelong.
Saturday night,
Yeah,
isn't it? Essendon and Geelong. So I thought this week I'd come up with my top 10 country Tigers.
Righto,
Which is a
beautiful.
very good list in alphabetical order.
Yeah, of course.
So number one is, and we'll talk about him a bit later in the spirit of 67, but Francis Burke from Nathalia.
Yep.
Of course. Number two, your good mate Walker, Wayne Campbell from Oyen initially, and then Bendigo. So he had the
born
two
in
country,
Oyen.
Born in Oyen, and then from Bendigo. I must also say that these are players, I haven't included players that we picked up from other clubs that might have been from the country initially, like Paul Broderick and Barry Rowland.
Or Nate Brown.
Yeah, the ones that we recruited straight from the country. Number 3, the Kyabram kid, the original Kyabram kid, not Kane Pettifer, but Dick Clay.
Yes.
Number 4, Jimmy Jess from Avoca and St Arnaud. Jumping Jimmy Jess. Number 5, Merv Kane, team of the century halfback, great underrated player.
Where's Merv from?
Witchy Proof. He was the Witchy Proof wonder. Witchy Proof wonder.
Yep.
Number 6, Matty Knights, of course, also team of the century from
Mildura. That's a bit big. That's not a country town.
Yeah,
it's 30,000 people.
No, it's still a country town. It's a country town, definitely.
Yep.
It was from our country zone, you see, that we recruited him. And also number 7, Mark Lee from Mildura, our country zone. Number 8, Barry Richardson. He's from Barnawatha. Do you know where Barnawatha is? It's between Wangaratta and Albury, and then he went to St Pat's College in Ballarat, where Daniel Riol and Dan Butler came from.
Yep.
Number 9, Michael Roach from Westbury in Tasmania.
Little country town on the way to Launceston.
Like a little English village, I heard.
Yeah, it is.
Type town,
You used to go through it on the way to Launceston from Devonport, but you bypass it now.
Okay, nice little town. And number 10, to round it out, our good mate here, the flea, Dale Waitman. Dale Waitman, of course, the flea from Mildura. So there's pretty good 10.
He's what you call an horrendous pest, Dale.
Yeah, no, he is a horrendous pest.
Isn't he?
He is the flea.
Just annoys me.
Shocking pest.
Rhett Bartlett's here, by the way, too.
Yeah, yeah.
Good to see you, Rhett.
Red's been terrific, supplying with some good
He has.
info.
He's a great listener.
He is.
We know how to make the most of who you are. To let the best of
Yes, it's VFL report time, and as always, we're joined by the great Louis Gillett. It's Gillett, isn't it?
Yeah, Gillett, that's right, Richard.
I've got it
After
right.
about 8 weeks, you've got it right.
I finally got it right.
Well, another great Louis, when we're paying respect to Louis Richards,
that's
and we've
true.
got our own Louis.
We've got our own great Louis the Lip here today. Louis, it was a great contest, wasn't it, Saturday night? Frustrating in the end, but the real good game at Etihad Stadium.
Yeah, frustrating. Pretty similar to the actual AFL game, in all honesty. So I feel a bit sorry for the folks like me who had to stick around for both of them and cop both those losses in one. But as you say, it was a pretty solid performance, and at the end, just outclassed by a very fast-finishing Dogs team, but still plenty of positives to take away.
They had a pretty good team, didn't they? There was some really good players. Redpath came back, Tory Dixon, obviously. Cramery was out there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. As you say, Jack Redpath back in his first game, he was in very, very good nick. 6 goals for the Dogs, which was nice to see, even from our perspective. Guy coming back from an ACL. You know, it was good to see him perform like that. But yeah, as you say, Stewie Cramery, Shane Biggs, young ruckman Tim English as well. So they certainly came out all guns firing. And to stick with them as long as we did, I think it was a very solid effort from the boys.
What about some of the positives from our perspective then? Sam Lloyd, another top game?
Yeah, absolutely. He's strung together a few really, really impressive performances in the VFL now. He's got himself up to another 20 disposal game, playing as a bit more of a mid-forward role, which he's really excelled in. Another 2 goals and 11 tackles as well. And we know how important that forward pressure is, especially at AFL level, for our small forwards to perform like that. And I think that's a really good indicator that he's just about at that level.
Talking to a lot of Richmond supporters, they're really happy with the form of Shea Bolton, our number 1 draft pick.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Shea, and Fly did say after the game, it was his sentiment that Shea has probably had his best VFL game to date so far. He got himself up to 2 goals, 21 disposals as well, a couple of really good marks, and 3 tackles as well. So he's managed to get a lot of the footy, kick a few goals as well, and just that kind of flair and excitement that you like to see from those forwards like Shea. He really showed that. So definitely promising signs going forward for him.
A rundown tackles there too.
Couple of rundown tackles as well, which is really great to see his determination and intent there.
Similar to Shea, Tyson Stengel popped up with 3 goals, but he also had a good learning experience against Shane Biggs, who you said 6 or 7 games ago played in an AFL premiership as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right, JB. He's a premiership player, so for a young guy like Tyson, that was a great test of his mettle, and he was really impressive. 3 goals. He only had the 7 touches in the end, but as we often talk about with this kind of thing, with these kind of forwards, it's not necessarily about the quantity of their disposals, but the impact that they have with them. And for him to return that with 3 goals, I thought was really impressive. Did step up right at the very end with a goal that got us to within 1 point of the Dogs as well. So he stepped up in those crucial stages, which was fantastic to see from him.
What about Connor Menadue? How did he go?
Yeah, I thought he was one of the better performers of the AFL boys. 24 disposals, and in a first quarter where we kicked 6 goals to just the 1 for the Dogs, he was one of our key performers, really attacking the middle of the ground where it looked like Footscray were fairly vulnerable, and also ended with 10 marks as well. So a couple of handy intercept ones there.
Where did he play? Did he play on a wing or?
He played a bit off wing and halfback as well, but also moved through the middle. So he kind of played a couple of roles for him, and as you can see by his statistics there, put in a really hard industrious shift.
What about Ben Lennon? I liked his game?
Yeah, Ben Lennon, he's probably come a couple of quiet weeks for him, but he's really come back strong. He ended up with the 3 goals today. Really did have an impact with 23 disposals. Fairly similar to Sammy Lloyd in that he played more of a mid-forward role than we usually see from him. Also led well. He had 6 marks. So it's fantastic to see him kind of bring back that form, which we all really want to see from him.
Soldo went up into the AFL. Marich missed with his back, who took on the responsibility in the ruck.
Yeah, we had Marbs Chol in the ruck, who did a pretty hard job. He actually barely, and I was talking to Fly after the game, he really illustrated that having Marbs not really spend any time up forward was intent to obviously, have that learning experience for him as a main ruckman. Going up against Tim English as well, who is a pretty handy young ruckman in himself. So seeing those two go head-to-head was a great battle all day. Really did hold his own in the ruck as well, Marbs. So a pretty good performance from him.
Another young player whose development I'm interested in is Callum Moore. How did he go?
Yeah, Cal was excellent. As always, he's strung together a few really excellent games. He really stepped up in that fourth quarter, let his physical presence be known, kicked a really classy goal from a set shot about 45 out when all the pressure was on him to get us back within touching distance of the Dogs as well. So a couple of people who have been watching him this week have really noted how excellent he is going into the contest. He's got an excellent set of hands as well, and he's really developing quite nicely, and a great jump as well, Greeners. Really developing nicely as a key forward, but can also go back as well. So that versatility is a really positive sign for him going forward.
Would he have the height maybe to even pinch hit in the ruck?
Well, potentially, yeah. Maybe like in the forward line, he could do he could hold those duties there. Probably like as a full-time ruckman, I'd say probably
but
not.
just a pinch hit.
Just as a pinch hit, yeah.
Playing for the Bulldogs, he could ruck because I don't think Luke Beveridge cares that greatly for ruckman at the moment.
I don't believe he does, yeah.
Hey, what did Fly say after the game? No doubt he would have been frustrated to get so close and just miss out.
Yeah, he was fairly disappointed, but pretty happy with the effort overall of the guys. Obviously, in all the games, he's really stressing a few key points, and that's all the players are playing to their strengths. Our pressure's always on, and that we're fighting and we're celebrating our wins. So he said that while the players obviously couldn't get the result, it was great to see him do that. And in the end, it was probably just a matter of being outclassed by a dog side, which, as we've already said, were pretty heavily stacked with a lot of talent.
Just one more for you, Lou. I really like the game of Jake Batchelor.
Yeah,
did you see him play and organising the defence as well?
Yeah, it's so important at VFL level to have guys like Jake Batchelor, and I thought Stevie Morris back there as well, who were really impressive. He ended up with 15 disposals for the day, 6 marks, 3 tackles and 5 spoils. And you can even just hear him having that vocal presence down back, instructing a lot of the young players, really getting our structure back there right. So I think the leadership he provided was fantastic, and he was obviously able to have an impact with the ball coming a bit off half back. So it was great to see him in that position, and he's doing very well for the side at the moment.
Beautiful, Luke. What's next, mate? Where do we play this week?
Yeah, pretty rough game coming up this week, Richo. So we're facing the so far undefeated Box Hill Hawks. Box Hill City Oval.
Chris Newman in charge, isn't he?
Yep,
certainly is. So there'll be a familiar face there, which will be an interesting little component of that battle there. But we do face them at 12 on Sunday. So that's going to be a great game. It's going to be a bit hard for a few of our fans to get down there, considering the overlap with the AFL game. But obviously, if anyone's up that end and not planning on going into the city for the day, we'd recommend get down to Box Hill and support the boys.
Absolutely, mate. Very comprehensive as always. Louis Gillett.
Yeah, you got it.
I've got it.
You got it. Stick with it, Richard.
Thanks, heaps,
You'll
Lou.
forget it next week. Yeah.
Do you reckon Louis is a bit flat that he didn't get a set of Bang & Olufsens and we did?
Well, he should be.
Hey?
He should be green with envy.
He should be flat, shouldn't he?
They're cracking, aren't they?
Yeah, they're really good. What'd you like, boys? What'd you like Saturday night against the Bulldogs?
Well, I really like Jack's game, and I think we should obviously we mentioned it briefly, but 500 career goals. I mean, I think
he's got a lot of footy left too, hasn't he?
Yeah. Do you reckon he'll get you? He's got 300 to go.
How that's probably 5 years, isn't it?
Yeah, he might.
Yeah, I reckon he's got a fair bit of footy.
He's so smart, he could play like he can.
I hope he does.
Yeah.
Although
that means he's playing good footy.
He would have passed the Chiefs' games tally by then. So
maybe
not.
Not.
We know what happened to Lids when he got close to Brendan's games tally.
Big Nanka too. What happened last week? But
so what did you like?
Oh, look, Jack. I think he's jumping at the ball now too, and he's just looking really lively. And I think he had that slight issue. Had a bit of surgery with the ankle.
Yeah.
And I reckon he's just a lot fitter.
He's launching again, isn't he?
He is. He's just jumping at the ball. And,
I thought in the second half in particular, he made a lot of contests when he was outnumbered in the air.
Yeah,
I thought he was really good.
So I just really liked the way he's going about it. So 4 goals again and chalked up the 500. So,
After the game against Adelaide, I reckon there were a lot of question marks on how we were going to respond. And I mean, to paraphrase Dimmer, I think we needed the win, but I just like the intent that we showed early.
I
mean, it's always disappointing to drop a 5-goal lead in the second quarter and
but that
walk away without the 4 points. But the way we matched the reigning premiers on their home deck for 4 quarters, I think
it shows that our style of play is sustainable. And
And to say that you drop a 5 goal, well, it's true, but that was very early in the second quarter. There's a lot of footy left in the game. So, Oh, and just while we're on, Jack, you had something to mention about...
of course, coming up to Mother's Day as well. Shop.richmondfc.com.au has a range of Jack 500 goal merchandise. So I don't know if you get stocking fillers for Mother's Day, but look into that.
Get mum something, Jack merchandise. I like Dave Asprey. I think he's rock solid at the moment as our second tall defender. And if he can play on the number 1 forwards and let Jack Rancy intercept, I think that's great. Hey, we might just quickly have a listen to Dimmo. I thought Soldo was really good as well, and he had a comment to make about Soldo's game.
It's an interesting one. Look, he's a competitive lad. He's got a long way to go, Soldo, and we knew that when we picked him. But the experience he'll take from that is enormous, and sometimes a little bit hard when you've got a sort of a dominant hand ruckman, if that makes sense. It's a little bit easy for the opposition to nullify at stages with their setup around the ball. But look, he'll take a lot out of it. We're excited by some of the things we saw tonight, so he'll get better as a result.
We did. We spoke a bit about him before, but he was great. Who did you give your votes to, Tony?
Thank you, Matthew. I gave 3 to Jack, 2 to Dusty. I thought Dusty was really good too again. And
what about that effort?
Late 2-on-1.
Just enormous, yeah. And I gave one to Grigor, team high 20. He is just having a ripping season.
He is.
He might be in All-Australian calculations, Matty.
He'd be in the squad, I reckon. Throw his name up, that's for sure. I gave 3 to Rancy. I thought he was back to his intercepting best on Saturday night. I gave 2 to Jack, and I gave 1 to Dusty.
I gave 3 to Jack as well. I thought he was great in the game. I gave 2 to Dustin Muttongy. We rank him hardly.
We do, don't we?
I mean, unfairly at times.
Anyone else plays that game.
Exactly right. He had 900 metres gained or something, the highest of the round. I mean, not that counts for everything, but I thought he was well worthy of the 2 votes, and one I gave to Alex Rance as well.
Beautiful.
I think he's back to his best.
He is. So he's in front, Dusty. He's on 30 votes. Koch is on 22, Jack on 20, and Nank, Rancy and Grigor are all on 10 votes. I don't think any of us did any good this week, did we?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Well, I had Lloyd to kick 3 goals, and he did.
But no.
What? I had Sam Lloyd to kick 3 goals.
No. You said he would come back into the team. And if he didn't, he would kick double in the VFL.
You're splitting hairs.
So you got it wrong. Who are you going to go for this week? No, you got it wrong. Don't you?
I'm really going out on a limb because you have a go at me often for not being bold, strong and bold. I'm going for Dan Butler to get a Rising Star nomination on the back of his performance against Fremantle on Sunday.
Wouldn't that be good?
I like that. That's good. How good's that Petrovsky-Seaton?
Yeah, how good was Butler's goal?
I'll get you, Butler.
They won't get him.
Well, it's up for goal of the year.
Ooh,
if you still have faith in that after Rioli got
no,
shafted,
no,
but that's another story.
I don't.
Didn't Rioli get goal of the round?
No.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, that is a
Murphy got it.
That's a rant.
Mark Murphy got it. Anyway, there we go.
I'll go, Richard. Last week I had Corey Ellis to get 15 touches and 4 inside 50s.
Well, he did come into the team, so you got that right.
Yeah, I didn't get the rest right, unfortunately. This week I've gone for the trio of Taberner, Kirsten and McCarthy. I think they combined for 8 goals last week. I reckon our defence will keep them to 5 goals or less.
Gee, I hope you're right. I think we'll win the game if that's the case.
I think so too.
I went for Dustin Martin to get 10 AFLPA coaches' votes. He didn't. He got 2.
0.
No, he didn't get any.
He didn't get any.
Bontempelli got 9.
No. He was a bit, again, we do judge him harshly.
This week, this is exciting for the Richmond supporters.
Yeah, is that right?
I am saying that Shea Bolton will debut this week.
And?
That's it. Just that he'll debut.
That? No, that's not enough. You've got to put a layer to it.
Well, he'll kick a goal. He'll debut and kick a goal. That's a pretty big one.
I'm
predicting a debut. That's pretty big.
Yep. You can have 100 to 1 with me.
Roland agrees with me. He just nodded.
You can have 100 to 1 with me.
Roland thinks he's going to debut as well.
All right, fair enough. He might. He's going all right.
Okay.
He's going well.
There you go.
Well, what about Fremantle then?
I think we'll beat them.
Do you? Hey, what about, did you give the voting tally?
No, he did.
Yeah, I did give it.
Did you? I wasn't paying any attention.
I think we'll beat Fremantle.
Do you? They've been pretty good. They've won 4 of their last 5, and they finished very strongly in the second half on Sunday, and kicked a lot of goals. I mean, kicked 17 goals. It's,
They're they're playing better, aren't they?
They are playing better.
And he is
He's got
getting
a couple of targets, as you pointed out. They've got a couple of targets up forward, bigger targets.
Got to stop Brad Hill's
Brad
overlap.
Hill, he was unbelievable. Yeah,
I think he's the key. If we can keep Brad Hill quiet, I think that's the key to the game.
What do you think?
Lockie Neal and Fife as well.
They're
outstanding.
They're a good side, and their record against us at the G is pretty good actually. But it's there a couple of years ago, I think.
2015
late.
with Monday.
We just simply have to win these games.
We do, and I think we will win.
Those teams around you on the ladder, they're the crucial ones.
I think the return of Nankervis and quite possibly Shane Edwards will give us a real boost.
Shea Bolton to debut.
Oh, there you go.
Hey? All right.
Against his, if he does, it'll be against his father's old team.
Yeah.
You knew that, didn't you?
I did.
Oh. No, you didn't.
His dad played for Freo.
Yes.
Who?
Shay's dad.
What's his name?
Darren.
Anyway,
Righto.
just listen to the song.
Xavier Clark's waiting for me. Hurry up.
Well, it's a big one this week.
What is it?
It's another big one. Well, one of the greatest players in the history of the Richmond Football Club.
Who, Matthew
made
Richardson?
What's Priscilla up to this week?
What? Listen, made their debut 50 years ago on Saturday. One of the all-time, we're talking an immortal of the Richmond Football Club. Francis Burke.
Oh, yeah, Burke.
The great Francis Burke made his debut on, what is Saturday, whatever Saturday's date is.
May 13.
May 13, 1967. 50 years to the day against Hawthorn.
What a legend.
At the MCG. Now, the Tigers had a big win.
How did he go,
inaccurate. 16-22, 118 to Hawthorn's 5-13, 43. Now, Francis,
must have been wet,
he was
wasn't
19. No, why would it be wet?
5-13, 43.
Well, we kicked 16-22. Can't be that wet. Yeah. Francis was 19th man that day, and he came on at quarter time when Graham Bergen, half-back in the side, had copped a knee injury and was out for 8 weeks, actually, after that knee. So he came on as a replacement, ended up with 9 kicks, 3 handballs, 1 mark and 1 goal. So it was a really encouraging debut by Francis.
So Berg's missed a lot of that year.
Yeah, we came in late,
Right.
yeah. And then, interestingly, he there was another debutant that day for the opposition.
Yeah.
Pretty fair player by the name of Don Scott, debuted for the Hawks on that day. Francis was 20 years, 42 days old. He actually came into the side and then was second rover, forward pocket to the great Kevin Bartlett initially, before later that year going on to the wing and obviously part of that famous centre line. Burke, Barrett and Clay, but started off in a forward pocket second rover role.
Is that the best centre line in the history of the game?
It's probably the best line, full stop, in the centre of the game. Now, Francis back then also, right, was still living on the family farm in Nathalia, would get the bus on a Thursday into town, right, and then down to Punt Road, down to the club.
Did he train at Nathalia during the week?
Oh, probably early in the week. Then would train here Thursday night and go back on the bus to Nathalia after the game.
So getting to Shanghai isn't that big an issue?
No, it's no big a deal at all. No. But a couple of the other highlights of the game. KB kicked a career high to that point, 6 goals, 23 disposals. Royce was actually injured early and went off in the second quarter. Donny Davenport, great little player, Donny Davenport, kicked 3. John Northey kicked 2 goals, 5, 21 disposals. Dick Clay, 27 disposals, 9 marks. Roger Dean and Bull, 20 disposals, 10 kicks, 10 handballs.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so there you go. The great Francis Burke.
Rhett Bartlett's been waiting for your gags.
Yep.
He loves them.
No, they're very good.
You're back to the little posters today.
Yeah, just the little ones. Yeah. Just the little ones. Hey, what do you call a stolen boat in Venice?
I don't know.
Gondola.
Oh, yeah, you knew that one.
Sorry.
Where do fish like to go for a holiday? Finland.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if I've told you this before, and I may have. But
I wonder if anyone's listening to us in Finland,
No. Well, they
Helsinki.
might be, but they might also be listening to us in Germany. But I've just deleted all the German names off my phone.
Why?
Well, it's now hands-free.
I like that one.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Another international type gag. How many Spaniards does it take to change a light bulb?
Oh,
I got it.
you've done this one before.
Have I? Just one.
One.
I don't like going camping.
I do.
Too intense. Why did the doctor go... Why did the orange go to the doctor?
I don't know.
It wasn't peeling well.
Oh.
A mate of mine, right?
Yeah.
This is speaking of doctors, right? Yeah. Well, a mate of mine had a neck brace fitted years ago.
Yeah.
Since then, he's never looked back.
Were you going to do the Lou gag?
Oh, I must have a couple of... Now, this is one Lou gag, right?
Finish just with one
just
Lou
one
gag.
Lou gag, all right? This is one of his... He said that a thief, right, had stolen his wife Edna, had stolen her credit card.
The thief took Edna's
credit card, and Lewis asked, "Well, have you contacted the police?" And Lewis said, "No, because the thief is spending less money than Edna." He dined out on that.
He loved it.
He loved it.
Oh, he was a legend.
He was.
The great Lou Richards. So rest in peace,
Yep.
Louis, and we send our regards out to the whole Richards family. That's been Talking Tigers. Get to the MCG on Sunday, and we are contactable at talkingtigers@richmondfc.com.au or use the hashtag Talking Tigers. We'll be back next week.
Go Tigers.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yep. Out with a bang and Olafson here, aren't we?
Only one thing that Uncle said wrong in that opening. He'd prefer a fight than a feed. I could never, ever believe it. But welcome one and all to World of Sport.